everyone, and welcome to another speed build. Today I have a quick build for you all. I'm making an island living and base game only starter home, and I like doing these whenever a new expansion pack comes out just because they're very useful. As long as you have that pack, you can plop this down, move your sims into it without having to use any money cheats, and plus it's kind of a fun challenge for myself. And if it looks like this is coming together really quickly, that's because this was my 4th or 5th attempt at making this, because once I figured out the basic layout and structure that I wanted to go with, it took a little bit of trial and error to try to get the room sizes right and trying to plan everything out, because originally I was making it on the half water, half sand lot that's across the street, and some of the rooms were a little bit bigger. So when I went to go do the furnishing, I had barely even, I didn't even have enough money to put the basic furniture in. So then I, made the room smaller, and then I still didn't have enough money. So then I kept trying to change some other things, and I couldn't quite make it work the way I wanted to on that other lot. But then I looked at the lot values and I realized that that lot was almost twice the cost of this one. So then I decided to build on this one instead, and I just ended up having a lot more money to work with, and I was able to do most of what I wanted to do with this house. Plus, I think it was better to build on this lot anyway because I haven't built her before, whereas I've built on that other lot. And I really like the roof line of this house. I was trying to go with something similar to the roof line that you see on some of the other houses in this world, like the one that, like the house that's called Kinship, which actually looks pretty cool. And then also it's the same roof line that's on that house, that decoration house that's next to it, because I really wanted to make something that fit into this world, so I thought that would be something good to go with. And it's basically just two gable roofs intersected with each other, except one is a little bit narrower and taller. And I also add a little bit of extra flair to it by pulling the roof over the deck, so you don't even see the the wall on the roof, if that makes any sense. It's just pulled over so you can look up and see the thatch roofing from the underside, because with the recent patch they actually made it so you can pull the eaves of the roof forward more than you could before, because before you could only pull it forward 2 tiles, and it was barely 2 tiles at that. If you put a column under it, it wouldn't even cover the column, but now they made it so you can pull it 5 tiles forward. So I'm definitely going to be using that, pulling the eaves forward like that in more builds in the future now that I can do that, because I never did that a lot because I was so frustrated by how little you could pull it forward. So I did that for half the roof in the front, and then I also did it for the roof over the deck in the back, and it really makes this house look a lot better, because with starter homes, I always struggle a little bit because I like my builds to look well decorated, but obviously if you're making a starter home, that's a little bit more difficult. So it's always kind of finding this balance of, making it look decorated, but of course fitting it within the budget and making sure you have all the basics and some skill building items and all of that. I don't like it to look like it's just a bunch of cheap items chucked in, which it kind of is. And then there's always trying to find balance with the size of it, because I don't want it to be so large that I can't afford to put in the basics, and that I also don't want it to be so small that there's not really any room to expand in the future. And this house is fairly small, but I think if you wanted to down the road, you could add some other things in, like a computer desk or some other skill building items. I think there are spaces where you can fit those kinds of things in. You can always add in a microwave or a coffee machine and other appliances like that to the kitchen, or even a dishwasher. Because the kitchen is really basic as it is right now. I didn't even leave the cabinets in because I'm putting them in right now, but I took them out because I wanted to have some more money left over to add things to the outside of the house. And plus, those cabinets are purely decorative. There's no purpose to them at all. So I figured it was better to just leave them out of this house. But I did at least stick that oversized fork and spoon decoration above the stove, so there's a little something there. But yeah, that's something else you can add in if you play in this house and you make a little bit more money as time goes on. And this house does have a few skill building items in it, I added that bookshelf to the wall there, and a little later on I stuck an art easel outside. I was trying to put a computer into the house, but I ended up not doing that because they do cost a lot of money, and I thought about just plopping that base game laptop down on the dining room table, but that cost I think $1,600 simoleons, somewhere around there. So that was just way too much for this house, and I could have put a desk with the cheapest computer down somewhere else, but I don't think it really would have been that much cheaper, because you're gonna have to have the desk and the chair and then the computer. So I decided to completely scrap that. But I mean, with the bookshelf, you can build almost any skill you want, and then you do have the art easel, so there's a little something extra. And I also stuck some other activities outside, I added this fire pit. I thought that would be something kind of fun, so you can still have your friends over to hang out by it. And I also added a bath towel, or not bath towel, I added a beach towel out here at the end of it. And then we also have a lounge chair on that deck out back. So there's just a little bit of space to relax. And I think shortly, yeah, here I'm trying to figure out the landscaping. This took a bit of trial and error as well. Like, I think I had 3 or 4 scrapped attempts at landscaping this because I was trying to find the right combination of plants to make it look decently landscaped, but to not, you know, go over budget. Because at first I was trying to use the plants that came with Island Living, like that really lush grass and all the flowers, but they actually cost a good bit. So what I ended up doing shortly is just using the base game flowers, which probably was a good thing because I have used those plants from Island Living in the past 3 builds, so it's probably for the best to kind of mix it up a little bit and use some other stuff. But here I'm just going through a bunch of trees trying to find something that worked because I wanted to add one of these other trees to the yard here. But yeah, here's where I'm just going through and adding these plants. I mean, these plants sized up do fit in pretty well, and then we got the more like the pinks and oranges on the flowers, so I think that fits in pretty well with the world around it. But we're almost at the end of the building part of the video, so as usual, if you want to download this, there will be a link to do so in the description. There'll be other stuff in there, how to find it in-game, and that's going to be all for me, so hope you enjoy the rest of the video.